Today we're going to talk about chapters 20 to the end of the book in Pax by Sarah Pennypacker. And I hope that you really enjoy time with me, okay guys? Okay, so remember how there was something called Peter said that there was some sort of like bond, right? Like they were Pax and him, they were one, or at the same time not, right? And Vola explains a concept. It's a Buddhist concept of like a two but not two, right? So what do you think about this? Do you think this is crazy or not? And do you think that this is realistic or not at all realistic? Do you think this is like, did you roll your eyes at this? How did you react to this? And do you think, and also, I wanted to ask you, Vola asked this. You've always, so this is actually a quote, okay? You always been like this, asking other people to figure out stuff for you? That doesn't work. What do you think about that? And, excuse me, but anyway, what do you think about this? Do you think that Vola is right or not? And, do you think that Vola is a grenade or not? Do you think that she should be away from civilization because she killed somebody? Because this is a very important thing, right? And what do you think about Peter and his deed, right? About like the stage. Also, do you think that it would be cool if, do you think it would be cool when Peter makes a stage? I mean, what did you expect him to do? Did you expect him to do Sinbad? But that's not the case, right? But we're gonna talk about that later. Okay, so, I also wanted to ask you, how do you think that Pax felt about all this, right? And also, do you think that Bristol is getting friendlier to Pax, or at least not maybe friendlier, but like more non-aggressive? Let's just say that, okay? And okay, I also wanted to ask you. Now we're just going back to Peter. Do you think that do you think that it was the right thing for Peter to do this, do Vola instead of Sinbad, or do you think it was a good idea? And how do you think that Vola felt about all this? Do you think that she felt terrible? Or how did you feel about all this? And why do you think she was crying? What do you think made her cry? Do you think it was, what concept? Because some people will be like, oh, she was upset. But why was she upset? What made her being upset? This is one of the real big skills that you need to learn in a book to really understand the book, really go into the text. I also wanted to ask you about Peter, and if you had been Peter and you saw that that the people were closing and the war was closing around the Pax, how would you feel if you were Peter? And were you surprised when Peter said deal? He said again, on 3 conditions. What did you think about that? What did you think that 3 conditions were going to be anyway? Okay. I wanted to ask you about Pax. He went into the grub tent, right? Excuse me. And then the man came in, right? He was Peter's father, but he let Pax out. So I want to talk about this. Do you think that Peter's father actually knew it was Pax, or do you think that, Peter's father just was reminded of Pax and was like, he has sort of, not exactly a soft spot, but sort of like, he just shrugged and was like, it's a fox, so that he just let the Pax go away. What do you think about all this? And then, how do you think that Ron felt when he saw that one of his legs were gone, right? And then we realized that he can't hear. Why do you think he can't hear? Do you think that it was because the sound was too loud, or maybe because of something else? What do you think? Or do you think it was because of his injury? And did you think it was permanent anyway? And also, we begin to see in chapter. We're gonna see some new things in chapter 24, right? About like Vola, right? The 3 conditions. And what do you think about this? And do you think that this was for Vola's own good or for Peter's own good? What do you think about this? And do you think that Vola will get friendlier and more nicer than before? And Vola has changed. How has she changed? And do you think that this change is good or not? And do you think that also, I wanted to ask you about the shortstop. Peter missed the shortstop. How did you like the encounter? Would you have liked it if it was a little more friendly? But anyway, I'm gonna actually read the last paragraph. Okay, it's really short, and it's in chapter 24. But I thought that this was a very interesting paragraph. Well, not interesting, but just think about it. Okay. Vola motioned for him to slide the window open when the bus growled into gear. Boy, he called up as it lurched away from the curb. I'm going to leave the porch door open. Do you think, so, what did you think about that anyway? And anyway, I wanted to ask you about something else. About Pax's hunting skills. Do you think that the reason that Pax was good at his like second, third try, do you think it was because that he had instinct, or do you think that it was just luck? What do you think about this? And how do you think that Pax felt when he began to eat? And also, what did you think about Bristle and the peanut butter? Do you think that was funny? And anyway, Peter goes into like the evacuated area, right? And what do you think of the soldier? Do you think that all soldiers are meant to kill, or do you think that soldier was just drafted into war, dragged into war? And also, Peter, how do you think he felt? Do you think that he felt desperate? How did you feel about all this? How do you think Peter felt with all this? And then Pax woke, right? And it was like, his boy was near. Do you think this was also something about like the two but not two concept? Two but not two concept, or sorry, I might get mixed up about two but not two. But not, never mind now. Sorry, I might have gotten that wrong or not, but anyway, let's keep on going, right? So, I also wanted to ask you about Peter again, okay? And, what do you think about this bat? What do you think this bat symbolizes that Vola gave Peter a bat? What do you think this symbolizes anyway? And a coyote. How do you think that Pax and Bristle felt when they saw a coyote? How do you like coyotes anyway? And when you read about the coyote, what did you think about all this? And did you think that Pax and Bristle are gonna lose or not? But anyway, also, what do you think that Peter felt when he looked at all that destruction and muddy water? What did you think about all this? And how do you think he felt about all this? And when he saw the leg, how do you think that Peter felt? Well, it sort of describes it, but how do you think that Peter felt if you were him? How would you react to all this? But anyway, suddenly Pax ran away, right? And there was the boy. Not the boy, sorry, Peter. And then a single soldier ran down, right? It was Peter's father, and they tugged. And Peter and Pax thought, were these his humans? Because it was really strange. He had never seen this a lot, right? And why do you think that Peter's father even hugged Peter? And between them, what do you think happened just at that moment? This is a very important piece of the book, and if you had to remember only one part of the book, well, actually, I'm gonna tell you that later. But anyway, when Peter saw Pax coming, how do you think he felt? Of course, we know this, right? And also, I wanted to ask you, the coyotes are, well, Bristle and, well, of course, Peter and Pax fight the coyotes away. And then Peter and Pax, they get an awesome reunion. Did you need any Kleenex at this moment? Because this whole book has been leading up to this climax. Like, did you need some Kleenex and stuff like that? Because that's perfectly okay. And how did you feel about all this? But then Peter let Pax go because he suddenly understood something. It was that Pax belonged to the other foxes, and the foxes belonged to Pax. This decision was really hard to make. Okay, actually, this is the time I need some Kleenex. But anyway, I need to get my tissue from over there. But anyway, I wanted to talk more about this. So, this is the part that you should remember. If you had to remember only one part, then this is the part from Pax. This is like the climax, this is the ending, this is the most important part of the book, in my opinion. There might be other important parts, yes, and you should remember those, but this is really awesome. This is a part that, like I said before, you should remember really much. Why do you think that Peter wanted to let Pax go when she had journeyed all the way to that place? If you had been Peter, would you have let Pax go? And this time, Peter hurled the plastic soldier into the woods. But this time was different. How is this different? And then at the end, actually, right here, it says, sometimes the apple rolls very far from the tree. And it's actually on the paper that Vola gave him, Peter, to write anything about, right? Like if he learned a new piece about himself. And it's that sometimes the apple rolls very far from the tree. And then in the beginning, there was actually like the apple doesn't fall far from a tree, his grandfather was saying, right? What did you think about this? Did you think that was pretty cool? And and now we're actually done with this amazing book, heartwarming tale. This is a book that I just love. This is actually my third or fourth time reading this book, but I never get sick of this book. This is an amazing book. And I encourage you to reread and reread and reread this book again and again and again, because you will always find new things and your heart will always be touched when you read this book. Okay, but anyway, I'm gonna ask you about your favorite part, of course, in these chapters and then in the whole book. Who's your favorite character anyway? Peter, or Pax, or Brissa, or Runt, or Gray, or Vola, or somebody else? And also, also, how did you like this amazing book anyway? 1 to 10. I'll give you 1 to 10. And they're actually, I won't actually say what to predict next. Actually, I will. And then I'll suddenly tell you, there's actually a book 2 of Pax. I have not read that book, but it's supposed to be amazing. And I won't really spoil it for you. But anyway, book 2 of Pax is as awesome as this awesome, amazing book, okay? So even if I don't make a book club about it, then I really advise you to read that book fully. Okay, guys? But anyway, hope that you had an amazing time with me and this amazing, wonderful book. And I just hope that you have a great rest of your day or night like this right now here, okay guys?